Hello, my name is JCannedy, and I will be presenting the Instructional Action Plan for the new Tyler High School for the 2015-2016 school year. Before I begin, I would like to share with you my instructional beliefs that guide me as I make decisions for our school. I believe that instruction should meet the students at their educational level and provide successes that will encourage them to meet and exceed challenging expectations that we set for them. I think instruction should be centered on the students, and that the students should be held accountable for their learning and their behavior. I think that instruction should be a collaborative effort, project-based, student-directed, and relevant to the student's life. I think instruction should be based on high expectations, and the instructional climate must foster and encourage educational risk-taking. And I think finally that instruction should utilize technology and technological skills at every available opportunity to meet the needs of our students for their futures. So that's a little bit about what I believe about instruction. Now to talk a little bit about where we're going with the instructional action plan for our new school year. First of all, just like an artist uses many different paintbrushes to paint great paintings, I think teachers have a lot of tools at their disposal that they need to be using to be successful. I think all students don't learn the same level, therefore choosing the right tool is very key to success. And those tools are the instructional models that we use in our classroom. These instructional models should be student-driven, and they should engage the students in rigorous and relevant study. You should be pushing your students to the highest level of blooms that you can possibly get them to in order for them to be able to synthesize information and make it relevant to their lives. And I think it should be inquiry-based. I think students need to be asking questions. That students need to be driving what do they want to know, and how deep can they get that information. So those are just some things about the philosophy behind these models. And my plan is we're going to be implementing two very distinct instructional models over the next 3 years that are going to foster this environment that we want, that engages our students in deep, meaningful, and learning that they can carry through their lives. And these two models are the inquiry-based or project-based teaching model, and along with that it's the rigor and relevance framework. And I think those two models just really go hand in hand. I think the rigor and relevance framework is kind of a way for us to monitor how the level by which we are teaching our kids, and then project-based teaching and inquiry-based is just a way to get kids deeply interactive in their education. These are just really good models to be working from. Now, how are we going to apply these? One of the things that I know about Texas schools is that our STAR tests drive our curriculum too often. We spend a lot of time teaching to the test when we really should be teaching kids to think. And I don't think many times we're teaching kids to think, we're just teaching kids to regurgitate information. And for us to get kids to that level, we've got to be willing and ready to take chances and to get out of our comfort zones to make this new process work. Now, the reason I picked these two models is because of our strengths and weaknesses that I identified in our school district. I think we have a lot of great things going on at New Tyler High School. I think we have some concerns that need to be addressed, and I think by using these models we can address many of these issues. As far as strengths, I think we have a great student-to-teacher ratio. We have 15-to-1 student-teacher ratio. I think our teacher morale is very good. We're in a new district and everybody wants to be here. We have new facilities. We have a very balanced staff of new teachers and experienced teachers, and I think the new teachers with great new ideas coming right out of college, along with experienced teachers knowing what works and what doesn't, putting those together is just a great dynamic for great things to happen for our kids. I think we spent a lot of time last year in staff development talking about classroom management, so I believe classroom management is a fairly good strength that we have at our school right now. And I think overall attendance rate is very good, 95.8%. I think we can get that higher, but I think that's a strength for us right now. If our kids are here, they're learning. Now, some of our concerns that we really need to be addressing with these teaching models. There's some administrative issues. I think we need to really focus on staff development. I think we've started some staff development in the past and it didn't get followed through. I think the administration needs to come up with a plan, an improvement plan, and follow that through. I think there's a lot of political issues that are going on that are driving some of the decisions in our school. And I think basically we don't do good follow-up training for our staff development to make sure that what's going on in our classroom is best for our students and that you have the tools you need to teach your students. I think there's some teacher-driven concerns that we need to address, and I think these models will help with this. I think our star scores are low. We need to address that. I think student engagement is an issue. I think there's several teachers that just teach instead of and then give worksheets versus engaging students in meaningful curriculum that means something to them that they can take with them. And I don't think our curriculum right now is learner-centered. I think it is driven by teachers giving information. And I think that's something these models will definitely address. Then I think we have some issues with just that are completely out of our control. We have a large economically disadvantaged population. We have also a large English language learner population. We have many at-risk students. And then we have a large group of students needing accelerated reading intervention and math intervention. So we have some concerns that they're not anything dramatically hard to overcome, but it's just things that we need to pinpoint and correct. Now, in applying these two models, inquiry-based learning, some things that you need to know about inquiry-based learning. It has to be authentic. I think it's student-driven by student inquiry. What do the kids want to know? And how can we take what we need to teach them and what they want to know, put that together and make it real and applicable for their lives? I think in inquiry-based learning, it needs to be collaborative. Students need to be working in teams. They need to learn how to work in teams. It needs to be student-driven, and student needs to be very active in their learning. I think we need to be pushing, in inquiry-based learning, you need to be pushing students to the highest level of blooms and rigor as possible to promote higher order thinking and deep understanding of the content that we're teaching them. And then lastly, but probably one of the most important things, is the teacher's role in inquiry-based learning is not one to stand in front of the classroom and give information, but to serve as a facilitator and a modeler of learning. You know, how can I help you learn this information, and how can I guide you so that you get to deep levels of understanding? So those are the basics of inquiry-based learning. We need kids to be collaborative. The information needs to be authentic, needs to be deep, and the teacher's role is a facilitator versus a giver of information. In the rigor and relevance framework, it's just a very comparable, a very, very good complementary model to go with inquiry-based learning. And it gives a framework by which you can measure almost the level by which your students are learning and the relevance that they're getting from their curriculum. It pushes you to get kids to the highest level of blooms possible, engages in students at higher levels of thinking, and it gives them real-world application. Students are able to synthesize and analyze and create better using rigor and relevance, and it gives us the opportunity to be multidisciplinary. We don't stay in one content area, but the content that we're teaching in math gets over into math, and it gets over into science and social studies, and goes across the curriculum, across the school, not just in one content area. We're not in a cave with one thing going on, but we're outside of the world with multiple things going on. And students are able to take this information and go apply it in their lives because of this multidisciplinary level of learning. Now, for us to get this in our schools and make it work, there's some things that we have to do for you to help you. And we need to provide, the big thing is we need to provide professional development for you. And professional development needs to be go from just being a piece of information you get at the beginning of the school year that you take and you put in your locker and never use again, to something that you are living daily, using daily, and incorporating as a way of life and a way of business for you on a daily basis. That is the key to success. And for that to happen, we're going to be providing ongoing staff development, not just one-time shot, you get it, you take it, you do it, but ongoing. It's going to be collaborative. We're going to be using several different techniques that are going to make it easier for you to collaborate with other teachers, to get ideas, and to help and grow and learn. So the way we're going to be doing this is we're going to be, of course, continuing with observation and assessment. Not only will the principals be doing a lot more walkthroughs and a lot more evaluating what's going on a daily basis, but we're also going to get some master teachers from the area that we're going to have come in on a regular basis for your content area to help you grow in your area. And they're going to be able to provide feedback to you on what's going good, what's going, what needs to be corrected, what are some ideas that I know work for me, here's something you could try. And the observations are not gotcha moments, they are opportunities for you to see what's going on and to help grow. And with the mentor, with the master teachers, we're going to be doing a lot of peer coaching. I want to do a lot of partnership with neighbor schools to provide master teachers, and I want to give you time each month to observe other teachers within our school and other schools so that you can get some feedback and get some ideas from other teachers. And then we're going to be having team meetings to help grow in the peer area. And then we're going to definitely be doing a lot of vertical alignment meetings, and we'll have opportunity to do vertical alignment. And then study groups. I think it's real important to have an idea, take it, study it, grow with it, and then see how we can apply that in our classrooms and share with each other what works and what doesn't through these models. For us to be successful at using these models, we have to have data, and this data has to drive what we do. We have to assess what we're doing, we have to analyze what we're doing, and then we have to take action on that assessment, on that analysis. We can't just do assessments and never look at what's really happening. We can't analyze and then not take action. All three components are very important. So we have to analyze, we have to assess, analyze, and take action. We have to do all three of these important things for us, for the data to make any sense for us. In the action plan, the thing that I'm planning to do is our instructional decisions have to be data driven. Students need to learn to analyze their own data. That's going to be a new concept that we'll be teaching over the next few months. How can students analyze their own data to be successful? And how can we use student data to analyze our own changes? We need to establish school-wide data teams so that we are looking at data on a regular basis. We will have a written action plan for data. How are we going to utilize this data? And then real important is regular meetings on data so that we take this information and do something with it, not that it sits there and we do nothing with it. I'm looking forward to this school year, and I think with these new models, I think our students will be very successful in our education, and I'm excited to be here, and thank you very much.